Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. So I would like to welcome all of you for our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. My humble obeisances to each one of you. So thank you so much for your association. I'm very happy and glad and honored to be with all of you. So last week we were just having an introduction. In fact, it was not even introduction to Bhagavad Gita. It was just, we were speaking about the importance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the glories of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, right? And what should be our mood to study Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Not only Srimad Bhagavad Gita, any scriptures, what should be our mood in that particular mood, what should be the mood we should follow while we study the scriptures. So this was our last discussion. So many of you were present last week. If you were not present, please, I had sent the recording also. You can just have a you can, if you are free, you can listen to that, because we were speaking about the importance of Bhagavad Gita. How much importance is Bhagavad Gita is having in our day-to-day life. This we discussed. And also definitely the mood of approaching any scriptures, that is also required for us to understand. If we do not know how we should deal with people, as a general example we say, then that will not be so good, right? We should be dealing with everybody in a nice way, in a friendly way, not agitating them, speaking to them nicely. So that is very important. So in any activities, we should always remember that how I should approach, or how I should take this forward. So while we approach scriptures, we should have some particular mood to follow. So if we follow that, then we will get the best result out of that particular activity. Okay. So with that, let us begin. So I was just thinking, we will be starting the Srimad Bhagavad Gita basically from the verse number 1, chapter number 1, and we will, by Krishna's mercy, we will be trying to go till the end of the Bhagavad Gita, that is the 700th verse. So there are 700 slokas or verses in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and there are 18 chapters. So these 700 verses are given in 18 chapters. So last week we have given some kind of intro to this, that it is divided into three parts basically. The first 6 chapters basically talking about Karma Yoga, and the last 6 chapters is Jnana Yoga, and the middle 6 chapters is Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so anyway, by Krishna's mercy we will be going in details. So before we start the first chapter, there are some preface, and there are some information which will help us to to get into the pages of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So there are 3 topics basically. I will just by the way, this is Veda base, Bhakti Vedanta Veda base. All of you, if you have Bhagavad Gita copy, that's my recommendation to have that copy with you while we study the Bhagavad Gita. If you do not have the Bhagavad Gita copy, I mean, we are discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is from the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, and this Bhagavad Gita has been, of course, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, and directly it came from the mouth of lotus mouth of Krishna, and Bhagavad Gita as it is being, our beloved Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada has written the purports of, or purport means the explanation of each verses. So when we study this book, we will understand Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Each and every verse, the translation is given in the English language in order to understand what is the meaning of that Sanskrit verse. Not only that, the Bhagavad Gita as it is including each and every Sanskrit words of the sloka is being translated into English. So we can find word to word translation of the verse. Then we will be seeing in the meaning of the entire verse. We call it as translation, and then there is going to be purport. Purport means the bhavartha. Bhavartha means what exactly is the meaning of this verse, and what are the practical points which we can understand from this verse, and how we can implement this in our life. So everything includes the acharyas, different acharyas purports, commentaries, which is included in the purport of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So this great work has been done by the founder Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. So we call, the Bhagavad Gita is titled as Bhagavad Gita as it is. If you can see here on the screen, as it is means it is just what Krishna was speaking to Arjun. As it is, there is no misinterpretation, or we can say that there is no addition or subtraction from the actual meaning of the verses spoken by Krishna or written by Srila Vyasadeva in Mahabharata. So we know that Bhagavad Gita is coming in Mahabharata, which is written by Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is an incarnation of Krishna. Okay, so we will discuss those things in detail later. So I'm just giving an introduction now that there are 4 sections. If you see, before we begin the chapter, this is the chapter number 1. So I don't know whether if you have book, you please have this. I will just copy and paste this link in the chat box. Also later on we can discuss. You can all refer to that in case if you don't have it. Okay, just 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Anyway, I'm sharing the screen so you can all see here. So later on you can also refer to this. Okay. So before we begin the chapter number 1, you can see there is one section called setting the scene, then the dedication, preface, and introduction. Okay. So now we will be going through setting the scene, preface, and introduction maybe a little bit, and I would be giving some homework to all of you because introduction is quite long, because this introduction is covering the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada is writing, the Acharya is writing the essence of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, of the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, the essence, the crux of it, he has included in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita, which is almost 35 to 40 pages in the book. So it's little quite long. So it would be my request to all of you to do some homework also. That would be helpful to understand the things. So all the essence and whatever the important things has been already mentioned in Bhagavad in the introduction, but it is my request to all of you, if you can read it by your own. Possibly we can do that for some time, and after that all of you would be requested to read it and complete the part. So before that, the setting the scene and dedication, all of you can read by yourself. Basically, our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, is dedicating that book to the devotees, but it is just one page, we can even read here also. The setting the scene preface we will be reading now. Possibly we will start the introduction also. How much ever we can cover, we can do that. Then let's see how it goes in the coming sessions, that we can start the chapter number 1. Okay. So I would be requesting all of you to read also. So this class will be like a one-to-one interaction, in the sense there will be interactions. It is not just one person is sitting here and speaking and maybe you are not able to attend properly or attentively. So it will be always good to sit and listen to it, because we are discussing something. We are discussing something very, very substantial, very, very important, and which will actually transform our life, which is required actually, because we are all suffering here in this world, in this material world. So we need to know what is our problems. We know what are the reasons of this problem, why all these problems are coming to us, and why and how, what is the way to get out of these problems also. So this is very important. So we can pay a little attention and also a little importance to our discussion. So I would be requesting to you to go through, read some of the sections. So that participation I'm expecting from all of you, and definitely the explanation we will be doing it separately. Okay. So basically this setting the scene is nothing but it's an overview of Mahabharata. I'm 100% sure that all of you are aware of Mahabharata and what was the context of of this Bhagavad Gita. What, how, when and where this Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna. So that scene, or we can say Srila Prabhupada is writing here, just to take us to that that context, in the sense when and where it was spoken and why this has come. So he is just giving an intro for this. So it will be nice to just remember the pages of Mahabharata while we read this. Okay. So I will also read for some time, and I will request some of you to read. Okay. Setting the scene. So although widely published and read by itself, Srimad Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, the Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata. All of us know that, and Krishna, when he came in a different yuga. Now I hope all of you know that we are in the yuga called as Kali Yuga. Hmm? So there are four yugas. The first yuga we say Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So these four yugas actually, always, it is like repeating and repeating. It like a cyclic process. It is going. So many times this yuga cycles happens. We will discuss that when we study Bhagavad Gita. So we need to understand. Now we are in Kali Yuga, which is the fourth yuga which I was mentioning. And Krishna, he came in the Dwapara Yuga, means the yuga just before the Kali Yuga. And that also towards the end of the Dwapara Yuga only he came. Towards the end, it is like from Dwapara Yuga there is a transition to the next yuga, which is Kali Yuga. So Krishna came, he did his pastimes during that time. It is like towards the end of Dwapar, and this Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita was spoken during that time actually. So it is just, we can say sometimes the Kali Yuga has just begun, or we can say Dwapar Yuga is just ending. So there is a instance, we call it as Sandhi. Sandhi means there are two yugas, they are overlapping, and so there is it's like like every day there are three sandhyas, we say, right? In the morning, noon time, and evening, there are three sandhyas. So from night, when the morning comes, there is a sandhi period, means there is an overlapping of night and morning. That is called as one sandhya. And in the noon time, there is a sandhi is there. And then evening also we know that we call it a sandhya or sandhi, right? So that is basically an overlapping of two times. Two different time, we can say, the part of the day. But likewise, we say, it is said that there is something called sandhi of the yugas also. So Bhagavad Gita, so the Kali Yuga was just begun. At the same time, Dwapara Yuga is towards the end. So there is an overlapping time. So that is the time when all this pastimes happened actually, basically. So it was towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, we can say. And once Krishna left the planet after his pastimes, then the Kali Yuga slowly started. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, that 50 centuries ago, means 5,000 years ago, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. 5,000 years ago. Just imagine the time frame. Not very. It's not. If you see from the Vedic perspective, 5,000 years is not very long. But if you see if we calculate according to our age and our calculation, then 5,000 years is too much, right? So 5,000 years before Krishna came, and he has given this beautiful, important Srimad Bhagavad Gita. He spoke this Bhagavad Gita, and you need to understand, devotees, the Christianity, the religion Christianity came maybe approximately 1,500 to 2,000 years before now, if you go past. And Islam also came almost like that. So you need to understand, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken much before all these religions came actually, including the Hindu religion. There was nothing called Hindu, there was nothing called Christianity, there was nothing called Islam. There was only one religion, which was called as Sanatan Dharma. So there was only one religion which is called as Sanatan Dharma, which includes the entire world actually. What is the meaning of Sanatan Dharma? Sanatan Dharma means it is Dharma which is Sanatan. Sanatana means it is eternal. Eternal Dharma means it is always existing. So that Sanatan Dharma has been set by the Supreme Lord directly actually. And the society has been divided into four classes four varnas and four ashramas. So we call it as in the Vedas call it as varnashrama. So there are four varnas and four ashramas. This was the only classification. There was no religion, nothing. So Sanatana Dharma, has this. Is saying that the society divided into four classes and four varnas. So four varnas and four ashramas. What are the four varnas? Four varnas means the first is Brahmana class. Then there is Kshatriya class. Third is Vaishya class, and fourth is Shudra class. So the Brahmana class, all of us know that what is the role of Brahmana. Brahmanas are basically, they are the advisors to the king. They are advising. So they advise as per the scriptures. Their base is scriptures. And Kshatriyas, their role is basically rule the kingdom, and also administration of the kingdom. So like that. So the Brahmanas are basically advisors for Kshatriyas. So by the advice of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas rule the kingdom. That's how it happens. That's second class. Third is Vaishyas. Vaishyas are merchants or businessmen, we can say. Basically, what kind of business? So as per the Vedas, two types of business is mentioned. One is cow protection, having cow farm, then cow protection, which includes milking the cows, and that milk we use for our day-to-day life, and also we sell it like that. So one is cow protection, and second is krishi. We say krishi means agriculture, and some business, vanijyam also. So like that. So that is the nature of, or the duty of, the Vaishyas community. So that they are the third category. Fourth category is Shudras. Shudras are actually working class. Working class means those who are getting salary. And these Shudras are helping the other three varnas. Like they help Vaishyas, they are helping Kshatriyas, and also Brahmanas. Means they are serving. Shudras are serving all the other three classes. So when we see this category, the Shudras are coming in the last, basically. So if somebody is getting salary for some of our work, then he is actually called as Shudras as per Vedas. So that means all of us in the current today's world, all of us are getting salary from the job. It is not dakshina, we are getting fixed amount of salary. So that is, we are actually, all of us are Shudras. In fact, if we see in that perspective. The point is that this was the only classification. There was no Hindu-Christian classification. And there is something called ashramas. Ashramas means, first 25, it is called as Brahmachari ashram, then Grihastha ashram, then Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. There is a categorization. So basically the Veda says the first 25 years is called as Brahmachari ashrama, wherein the human society, they study Vedas. They will be under a guru, and will be studying Vedas and scriptures. Then they build up a very nice foundation of their life. And there will be celibacy will be maintained during that time. And once that period is over, after 25 years, then they have the flexibility. They can enter into grihastha life. Grihastha ashram means married life. So marrying in a proper Vedic way, a religious way, then that is for approximately, the way the scripture says that it can go up to 50 years actually. So first 25 years Brahmacharya ashrama, 25 to next 25 means 50 years is basically the Grihastha ashram, wherein the husband and wife will have children. So maybe the children after 18 years, 19 years, they will be independent, and they will be standing in their own legs, or they will be already settled. So after that, what is this Veda says that after 50 years is the retirement time actually. That is called as Vanaprastha. So retirement time, as we call the retirement time, that is as per the Vedas, it is Vanaprastha time. Means giving all the responsibilities to the children, and then dedicating our complete focus and our full time in the devotional service. So that period is called as vanaprastha. And finally the sannyasa is there, that if anybody would like to go for sannyas ashram, they can go. Otherwise they can be in the vanaprastha stage itself, and from there they can they do the devotional service sincerely, and they leave the body during that, from that different stage. So basically during the vanaprastha stage there is complete detachment from all other things. So because we have already given the responsibility to the children, and now no more no more what to say, we can say the responsibilities. But nowadays what is happening is that we are sticking, and there is no vanaprastha at all. We are always attached, so much attached to everything, and we are forgetting about Krishna. So there should be a retirement time also. That is what Veda says actually. This is an ideal case, by the way. Somehow in our current generation these things are not being followed properly. In fact, that situation is little different, but we will have to somehow find some time for Krishna. So we don't have to go to any vana, we don't have to go to any forest and do meditation. We can make our home a spiritual place. So that is what we should do. So this is not complicated. We have to just bring Krishna into our life, just bring Supreme Lord into our life, and just keeping him in the center, and do all our activities. So if we do that, then we don't have to go to any forest to do meditation. Still we can achieve Krishna when we leave the body, we can go to Krishna definitely. But we need to be sincerely practicing that. Okay, so why I said this, because Srila Prabhupada is mentioning about here about 50 centuries ago, means 5000 years ago this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So we need to understand there was only one dharma, one religion, which is called as Sanatana Dharma, and there was no other Hindu Christian categorization. Hindu, the terminology also came very recently. Basically, there was nothing called Hindu religion actually, but Hindu religion is more proximately connected to Sanatana Dharma for sure, but that terminology came into existence later on. It is not given in the Vedas. There is nothing called Hindu actually, because it came when the people who are living, and because we know this, there is a river called Sindhu, and those who are living on the other side of Sindhu river are called as Hindu, something like that. This name has come. But anyway, the Hindu religion is more proximately closer to the Sanatana Dharma principles. Okay. So basically, if we see the entire world, we have only one religion. That is what is being said by the Vedas. So this 5000 years before Bhagavad Gita is spoken. So we need to understand the importance of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita or Vedas is not only for any particular caste or religion. It is not only for Hindus. It is for the entire world, because during that time when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, there was no Hindu, Christian, Islam, classification. Nothing was there. So it is for the entire population actually. So this is what we need to understand. Okay. So their discourse of their great philosophical and religious dialogues known to man took place just before the onset of war, a great fratricidal conflict between the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, and on opposing side the cousins Pandavas or the sons of Pandu. Okay, I would request someone to kindly read from this point, and we can read it and we will discuss it later. Okay, can anybody volunteer, please?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Please read from this point, Dhritarashtra and Pandu. Okay.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Dhritarashtra and Pandu were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharata, a former ruler of the earth, from whom the name Mahabharata derives. Because Dhritarashtra, the elder brother, was born blind, the throne that otherwise would have been his was passed down to the younger brother Pandu. When Pandu died at an early age, his 5 children, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nagula, and Sahadeva, came under the care of the Dhritarashtra, who in effect became, for the time being, the king. Thus, the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu grew up in the same royal household. Both were trained in the military arts by the expert Drona and counseled by revered grandfather of the clan Bhishma. Yet the sons of Dhritarashtra, especially the eldest Duryodhana, hated and envied the Pandavas, and the blind and weak-minded Dhritarashtra wanted his own sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom.
Hare Krishna. Yes, you can
Hare
just pause it.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. So here, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about that scene from, about Mahabharata basically. So all of you know about Mahabharata. I believe that definitely, because this we have been hearing from our childhood. At least we would have seen the serial of Mahabharata long back when I was in the schools. I remember still, I think it was on Sundays. So all of you definitely would be remembering the Mahabharata series. Okay. So here it is said that, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken in a battlefield. So it is spoken in a battlefield by the Supreme Lord Krishna to his friend Arjun. And why battle? Why battlefield? That's a question, right? And there is a reason for that. Why, in fact, battle had, there was a necessity of battle. War, big war. This was not an ordinary war actually. It was a very big war. So Dhritarashtra and Pandu, they are actually brothers in the Kuru dynasty. And descending from the king Bharata, there was a king called as Bharat Maharaj, and he was a very very great devotee. In his characteristics, his pastimes are given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so anyway, we are not going to touch that now. But he was a great devotee and a great ruler. He was a king, and he was actually ruling the entire earth. And the dynasties, Kuru dynasty is actually the descendant of the Bharata dynasty, King Bharata. And during that time, in fact, the terminology Bharat, we call India as Bharat, right? So actually, Bharat was not only called for the India. There is something called, as per the Vedic cosmology, if you see the planetary positions and all, there is something called Bharata Varsha, means the entire earth is coming in that actually. Bharata Varsha. So actually this entire earth is called as Bharata Varsha as per the Vedas. Okay, it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam also. And why it is called Bharata Varsha? Because King Bharata was ruling that time, and he was a very very great devotee king. He was a great Raja Rishi basically, and that's how the term, the name Bharat came to our country also. Now we are saying India, right? That is only Bharat, but actually the entire Bharata Varsha was called as the entire world, we can say. That was being ruled by King Bharata only, and it was called as Bharata Varsha. But now everything has changed. Anyways, so let's do the okay. So here the Dhritarashtra and Pandu, both of them were brothers from the Kuru dynasty. They are descendants of Bharata, and that is why the Mahabharata term also came actually basically. So because of the descendants of Bharata Maharaj. And Dhritarashtra was the elder brother, and Pandu was a younger brother, and Dhritarashtra was actually blind. He is blind from his birth actually. And Pandu was not blind, so we know there is some protocol, right? So the kingdom will be given to the elder brother. That's how it happens. But because he was blind, the forefathers, they actually requested Pandu to take over the kingdom, because a blind king, it will be difficult for a blind king to rule the country, right? So in that way, so the throne otherwise actually could have been passed over to Pandu, but Dhritarashtra was very very adamant, and he was actually taking that position. So what happened is that all these two brothers, the family, it was like a joint family, right? We know that in our olden days, joint family was there, and the five Pandava brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul and Sahadeva, five of them are called as Pandavas, and because they are the sons of Pandu, and other sons, headed by Duryodhana. So there were 100 sons for Dhritarashtra. So all of them are actually living together in the royal kingdom, and in the childhood basically, and all of them were trained. All these children were trained together by Dronacharya, who is he is the teacher of the Pandavas and Kauravas. So later on, it becomes Kauravas and Pandavas, the two, because there was a split in the family. The Kauravas were, Duryodhana and parties were called as Kauravas, or the sons of Dhritarashtra were called as Kauravas, and Pandavas, basically the five sons of Pandu. So Duryodhana, so Dhritarashtra, okay, so Dronacharya was the teacher for all of them, and there was Bhishma Dev also. Bhishma Pitamaha, we all of us know about him. He is considered to be the great grandfather actually of all the, even the Pandavas and Kauravas both. He was a great devotee. He was such a great devotee actually. So he was like a grandfather for all of them. Very great advisor for all of them actually. Okay, so Dhritarashtra, we said that he was blind from his birth. Not only that, he was physically blind, he was internally also he was blind. Means his heart was also bad. Means he was not having very good, appreciable character. In the sense, he had a great affection to his own sons, and he was envying the Pandavas, because Pandavas, all of them, the five brothers, they were virtuous, they were religious, they were virtuous from the childhood, of great, I mean, they were having, exemplary characters. And Duryodhana and others, means the sons of Dhritarashtra, they were not having, good characters from the childhood. There were envy, there were jealousy among, on the Pandavas. Pandavas were very nice. They were great. They were having good characters, and they never had any hatred or envy towards Duryodhana and others. But it was not the case for the Duryodhana and others. They were envying Pandavas because Arjuna was very good in. He was very good in the military arts, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is such a great personality. His behavior is exemplary, and Bhima was so powerful. He was so powerful, like having power more than 10,000 elephants. He was such a powerful personality, and Nakula and Sahadeva also were great personalities. So basically, there was an envy between Duryodhana and the sons of Pandu basically. So let's read what is happening. Can somebody else read the remaining part from here? Yes, please.
From where?
You can read from here, bro.
Okay.
Yet the
son of Dasastra, especially the eldest Duryodhana, hated and envied the Pandavas, and the blind and weak-minded Dasastra wanted his own son, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom. Thus Duryodhana with Dasastra consent plotted to kill the young son of Pandu, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin Lord Krishna that the Pandava escaped the many attempts against their lives. Now the Lord Krishna was not an ordinary man, but the Supreme God himself, who had descended to earth and was playing the role of a prince in the contemporary dynasty. In this role, he was also nephew of the Pandu's wife Kunti or Pratha, the mother of Pandavas, so both as a relative and as an eternal upholder of the religion, uh, Krishna favored the righteous son of Pandu and protected them. Ultimately, however, the clever Duryodhana challenged the Pandavas to a gambling match. In the course of that faithful tournament, uh, Duryodhana and his brother took the position of Draupadi. They the chaste and the devoted wife of the Pandavas, and insulting tried to strip her neck before the entire assembly of the princes of the kings. Uh, Krishna, divine intervention saved her, but the gambling, which was rigged and cheated by the Pandavas of their kingdom and forced them into the 13 years of exile.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. I will just continue. Upon returning from exile, the Pandavas rightfully requested their kingdom from Duryodhana, who bluntly refused to yield it. Duty bound as princes to serve in public administration, the five Pandavas reduced their request to a mere 5 villages. But Duryodhana arrogantly replied that he would not spare them even land into which a sorry, into which to drive a pin. Throughout all this, Pandavas had been consistently tolerant and forbearing. For now, war seemed inevitable. Okay. So what is happening is that all of you know the story, but just have a quick recap of it. So both of them were living together. We already discussed. Both the families were together, but when it came for the enthroning, who will be the next king, then Dhritarashtra, he wanted his son Duryodhana to be the king. But actually, Yudhishthira Maharaj is senior. Actually, he is the senior. He's senior to even Duryodhana. So he is the actual person who should get the kingdom. But Dhritarashtra was envious, and he wanted. Actually was trying to, just what to say. He was not happy to give the kingdom to Pandavas, and Duryodhana had a very bad character also, and he was completely envious. So all of them were actually plotting different things against the Pandavas. Even they were trying to kill all the Pandavas. That was they tried in different ways. They tried to kill them by giving poison. They tried to give them by putting the house on fire, and so many things they did. Actually, so many bad things they did. And somehow Pandavas were very virtuous and religious and devotees of Krishna, so they were protected. All of them were protected by Krishna. So what was happening is that there was actually no need of any war initially, because whatever is eligible for Pandavas, Dhritarashtra should have given to them. He did not give, but he said, we will not give anything. And Duryodhana was actually very, very jealousy, and he said, it is we cannot even give you a single even a small place wherein you can put a pin. They were not asking much actually, because they said, you give us only 5 villages, that's all, because the kingdom, the entire world was under Dhritarashtra. The 5 villages means very less, but they were not ready to give anything. Zero. They said, nothing, you are not eligible to get anything. So many things happened, and there was in between exile. Okay, we are not going to the stories. So there was an exile, 13 years exile. Pandavas were sent for exile, and they came back, and then that is the time when they were asking for this, asking for the 4-5 villages, but they were not ready to give, and they said, even we will not give a single portion of land, nothing. You can just you can just get rid of. You go to anywhere, we are not concerned. you go to forest or wherever, we don't want to give you anything. So that was the thing. Okay, so anyway, so what is happening is that Duryodhana was challenging and doing different things, bad things, and there was a gambling match. That also all of you know that there was a gambling match, and Yudhishthira had to participate in the gambling match, but it was a cheating match. And during the gambling match, we know that what is happening. Everything was taken away by Duryodhana and team, because that was a cheating match basically by the crookedness of Shakuni. He was doing this. He was the main person behind this gambling, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was losing everything. So finally, they were asking Draupadi. So this very sad story basically, and Draupadi Devi was brought into the middle of the assembly, and they wanted to the Duryodhana and party, they wanted to strip her naked in front of all this. There were more than, it is said that more than 60 lakhs of kings and princes were there in that assembly. Such a notorious, such a bad person only can do like this, right? So they were the Duryodhana, Duryodhana, Dushasana, and all of them. They were very bad in their character, and they wanted to bring Draupadi in that assembly like that. Nobody could say anything, and we know that Bhishma Pitamaha also did not say, because Bhishma Pitamaha did not say anything. Why? Because Bhishma was a great devotee, so he knew that Krishna will definitely come and save Draupadi. So to invoke Draupadi to call out Krishna, he was just keeping quiet. So this is the explanation given by our acharyas. So many people say that the Bhishma Pitamaha was not, he did not do his part. He was keeping quiet. He could have done something. He did not say anything. But actually, that was the plan of the Supreme Lord, basically. And because of Bhishma Pitamaha was keeping quiet, what happened is that Draupadi Devi understood that nobody is there to save me. Not my husbands, nobody, no Bhishma, no Drona, nobody. So she understood that I have to take the shelter of. I'm really sorry, something happened to my internet. Kindly forgive me. Okay, fine. So what we were discussing regarding the Draupadi Devi's unfortunate situation. Okay, so our Acharya says the reason why Bhishma Pitamaha was keeping quiet, because he wanted to give the credit to Krishna basically, because Krishna will never forget his devotees. Krishna will come and save his devotees at any cost. So he wanted to prove that let Draupadi Devi take complete shelter of Krishna, and let Krishna come and save her. So that was the intention. Nothing bad actually, because the devotees are always supporting Krishna's plan. So that was Krishna's plan also, to glorify the surrenderance of Draupadi Devi. She surrendered completely, and Krishna came and saved. Right? Krishna came in the form of sari. He came and protected her actually. So all these things happened. We are not going to details. And finally, then the exile is happening. Okay, exile is happening later on. Basically, before that, the gambling match happens. They lost everything. They went to exile. They came back, asked for something. For the 5 villages, they said, "We will not give anything. I will not even give you a land into which you can put a pin. Go, forget about it. Go away." It's too much. Huh? So then Krishna also went and spoke to them. Krishna requested the Kauravas, the Duryodhana. He went to see Duryodhana and said, "Duryodhana, you can give something to them. You have the entire world. Why we are so much envious of them? So please give them something, because they are actually they are also eligible for that. It's not that only for Duryodhana." Because Pandu, Dhritarashtra and Pandu, both of them are brothers. So definitely at least half of the kingdom should go to Pandavas. But they are not asking the half of the world. They are asking only just 5 villages. No, not even a single land. They said nothing. So Krishna also requested. They were not ready to listen to it. Then finally, the war had to fight. Actually, there was a requirement of a war, because why war is required? Again, it's the scripture says, if there is any decline in the religious principles, there should be something, because why the decline of religious principle happens? Because the rulers will not be virtuous, they will be not religious. So in order to remove them from the picture, basically Krishna comes and he re-established the dharma. It's very important to have to maintain the dharma, no doubt about it. We know that if somebody is doing any crime, he has to be punished, right? So the law will say that the law will give punishment to that person. Similarly, if the rulers they are not following the principles properly, they are misusing the things, and when there is a decline in dharma, Krishna has to intervene, or Supreme Lord will be intervening. So there was a requirement of a war, because it was like dharma, people who are dharmic and adharmis. The Duryodhana and party were following the adharma, they were not following dharma, and Pandavas were virtuous and they were following dharma. So it was basically a dharma yudh. It was basically dharma yudh, and it was actually required for re-establishing the dharma. So it was not an unnecessary fight, it was actually a required fight, because to re-establish the dharma there should be something. And it is not that Krishna even tried to not to have this war also. He also tried, everybody tried, but they were not compromising. That was the case. They said, we are ready to fight, no problem, but we will not give you anything. So that was the case. So that was the situation. So let's read the final part before we complete this part, setting the scene. Okay. I would request someone else, if you can kindly read from here. Yeah. From here, throughout all this. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
There is nobody. Can I?
Yes, no problem. Please continue.
Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, as the princes of the world divided some siding with the sons of Dhritarashtra, others with the Pandavas, Krishna himself took the role of messenger for the sons of Pandu and went to the court of Dhritarashtra to plead for peace. When his pleas were refused, war was now certain. The Pandavas, men of the highest moral stature, recognized Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead, whereas the impious sons of Dhritarashtra did not. Yet Krishna offered to enter the war according to the desire of the antagonist. As God, he would not personally fight, but whoever so desired might avail himself of Krishna's army, and other side could have Krishna himself as an advisor and helper. Duryodhana, the political genius, snatched the Krishna's armed forces, while the Pandavas were equally eager to have Krishna himself. In this way, Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna, taking it upon himself to drive the fabled bowman's chariot. This brings us to the point at which Bhagavad Gita begins with the two armies arrived ready for combat, and Dhritarashtra anxiously inquiring of his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? The scene is set with only the need for a brief note regarding this translation and commentary. The general pattern translators have followed in rendering Bhagavad Gita into English has been to brush aside the person Krishna to make room for their own concepts and philosophies. The history of the Mahabharata is taken as point of mythology, and Krishna became a poetic device for presenting the ideas for some anonymous genius, or at best, he becomes a minor historical personage. But the person Krishna is both the goal and the substance of Bhagavad Gita, so far as the Gita speaks of itself. This translation, then, the commentary that accompanies it, proposed to direct the reader to Krishna rather than away from him. The Bhagavad Gita thus becomes wholly consistent and comprehensible. Since Krishna is a speaker of the Gita and its ultimate goal as well, Bhagavad Gita as it is presents this great scripture in its true terms.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So we were talking about the war, the requirement of the war, right? Because Krishna went as Shanti Doot, he went to, as a Shanti peace messenger, he went to the Kauravas, and he was asking why we need a fight. We don't need a fight, because they were insisting to have a fight, Duryodhana said, if they want to have something, let them fight and win and take over. Krishna said, why? It is not required, because you can give some portion of your land. You have the entire world with you. Give them 5 villages. No. Give them at least no 5 villages, at least give them something. Nothing. He went as a peace messenger, requested them. They were not listening. Dhritarashtra was very adamant. At the same time, all his sons were also adamant. They said, nothing. If they want, let us fight. If they win the war, let them take everything. We are not going to give anything to them. Then what to do? Then he has to. Then war should happen, right? Because it is irreligious people are taking the rule. So Krishna had to intervene, but still he tried, but nothing happened. Nothing happened, and that is the reason this war actually happened. And Krishna said, I am not going to be part of the war. He initially said that. He mentioned 2 things. Actually, what happened is that this beautiful story is there behind this, very beautiful story, instructive story, where Krishna had already told that I will not be fighting the war. I will not be as a Kshatriya and fighting. I will be neutral, and but I can do something. I can help somehow, all of you. Like that he said. So what happened is that Duryodhana and Arjuna, both of them wanted to, they went to Krishna basically. So on the same day they are going actually. So Krishna was in Dwaraka during that time. So both of them from Hastinapur, they are going to meet Krishna and asking him to be part of the war actually. So Krishna had already said that I will not be part of the war. I will not be fighting in the war, like that. So it is said that while they went, Krishna was taking rest in his room, and so when he was just having a nap, so both of them were waiting for Krishna to open the eyes. Basically, they were waiting. So Arjuna was standing. What he did, Arjuna was standing near to the lotus feet of Krishna, and Duryodhana was standing next to Krishna. When he was lying in the bed, he was standing just next to him, next to the bed actually, closer to his head part, face. But Arjuna was standing near to his feet actually. So what happened is that when so both of them were waiting patiently for Krishna to open the eyes. They stayed there for some time, and after some time Krishna woke up actually. He was taking rest. So when he woke up, first he saw was Arjuna, because Arjuna was standing near to his feet. So Krishna was sleeping like this, and when he opened the eyes, he saw Arjuna first, and then he saw Duryodhana on his right. Why Duryodhana was standing next to Krishna? Because Duryodhana wanted Krishna to see him first and ask him, help, ask him to come, or ask him something. So he wanted to present his points first before Arjun. That is the reason he was standing closer. But Arjuna was staying little far away, but closer to his feet, lotus feet. But Krishna saw him first, Arjuna first, then Duryodhana started speaking. But Krishna said, wait. He said, I saw Arjuna first. When I opened my eyes, I saw Arjuna first. So let him speak first. Let him ask what he need actually. So Duryodhana was thinking, oh, now Arjuna is asking about, because Krishna had great army in Dwaraka. Because he was such a powerful Kshatriya also. He was definitely Supreme Lord. He was a powerful Kshatriya. He had so many powerful armies, they were actually so powerful, and Duryodhana wanted all the armies of Krishna. For that only he came to ask Krishna the army of Krishna, from Dwaraka. All were Maharathis. Maharathis means who can fight thousands of people. One person can fight thousands of people. So Krishna had such an army actually. So many Maharathis in his army. So Duryodhana knew this. So that is why he came and was asking Krishna. I mean, he wanted to ask that. But when Arjuna started asking, Arjuna started speaking, Duryodhana was thinking, oh, now what I will do? If Arjuna is asking this Sena for the military of Krishna, then I will not be getting it. So he was thinking that Arjuna asked something else. Arjuna was very, Arjuna's character. He is such a great devotee of Krishna. And Krishna said, what you need, Arjun? I am ready to. There are two options for you. There are two options for both of you. One is that I will give my Sena. I will give my military strength completely. Second option is that I will not be part of the war, but I can be with you, with any one of you, just as a support. That's all. I will not take the weapon, but I will be with you as an advisor or a helper. So these are the two options. You can choose this, but so Duryodhana was eagerly, looking at Krishna and saying, Krishna, ask me first. I am ready to, give my opinion. I wanted Sena. I wanted your, army. So you ask me first. Krishna looking at Duryodhana said, I am not going to ask you first. I am going to ask Arjuna first, because I saw him first. So let him ask me first. I am giving him the chance. So Duryodhana was completely disturbed. But Arjuna, he said, Krishna, I don't need your army. I don't need anything. I want only you. If you can be with me, you don't fight, but you just be with me. That's all. Oh, Duryodhana was thinking, oh my God, yes, this is what I wanted. Arjuna is a fool. He is a fool. He is not aware about Krishna's army's strength. He is a fool, and first of all, Pandavas didn't have proper armies. Their army strength, their strength is less compared to Kauravas. Plus, now Krishna's army also, if they are going to join Duryodhana's party, then they will be very, very powerful. So Duryodhana, that was his desire, to get army, not Krishna. So he was happy actually. He said, okay, Arjuna, even though he asked the question first, but Duryodhana got whatever he wanted actually. Krishna said, okay, if that is the desire, okay, Arjuna, I will be with you, but I am ready to give my Sena to Duryodhana. Duryodhana was so happy and went back. And what happened? It is the foolishness of Duryodhana, basically, because he asked, if he would have asked Krishna to be part of, his side, then nobody could defeat Kauravas. He will definitely not ask that, because he was so envious and jealous of everyone, right? So definitely he is not having that good thought process basically to take a proper decision. And Arjuna was a clean, a devotee. He was a great devotee, and he asked Krishna, you be with me, that's all. I don't want anything else. So beautiful. There's a beautiful story. This is what happened actually. And all the army of of Krishna joined Duryodhana's side, and Krishna joined Arjuna as a charioteer. He said, I will not take any weapon, but I will be your charioteer. I will be, your charioteer helping you during the war. That's all. And this is the scene actually of Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna, and now the fight, the war is going to begin. So that we will see in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, wherein during the war only this Bhagavad Gita conversation, Bhagavad Gita is being spoken by Krishna. Actually, what is happening is that Arjuna was overwhelmed by seeing all his relatives, all his friends, and everybody in the battlefield. He was overwhelmed, and he said, it is difficult for me to fight against the relatives. That was his confusion, and Krishna was inspiring him. And it is your duty to fight as a Kshatriya, and to re-establish the dharma, you need to fight. So we don't have to, that is more important than other things. So again, we will see that in the coming classes, basically by Krishna's mercy. So this is the scene, and there is something happening also. So battlefield, Kauravas party is there, Pandavas are there, and Krishna is there with them. And Dhritarashtra is not in the battlefield because he is blind, he cannot be in the battlefield. So he is in the palace only, and his secretary Sanjaya is actually envisioning all this scene in what is happening in the battlefield. But Sanjaya was a disciple of Vyasadeva, so because of that he had some special benediction from Vyasadeva that he can see the war even though he is not in the battlefield actually. So he was getting that revelation, what is happening in the battlefield, and he is speaking that to Dhritarashtra, blind king Dhritarashtra. So this is the scene now. By Krishna's mercy, we will discuss in the next class. So Srila Prabhupada finally conclude this, setting the scene, the first portion. He's saying that there are so many commentaries, there are so many Bhagavad Gitas available. If you go to any bookshop, you can see thousands, maybe hundreds of different versions of Bhagavad Gita. Basically, there are many people who have given purports to Bhagavad Gita, but the thing is that there are so many politicians, there are so many celebrities, there are so many philosophers who has written commentary to Bhagavad Gita. But we should understand that only a devotee, only a pure devotee can actually write the commentaries. Because only a pure devotee will understand what actually Krishna wanted to say. Nobody else will understand. Others will be having their own philosophies, their own concepts, their own interpretation, but that may not be right. But for a devotee, Krishna will reveal everything. Krishna will reveal everything to them, and what Krishna wanted to convey through the Bhagavad Gita will be revealed to that particular pure devotee, and then he will be able to pen it. Actually, he will be able to do a commentary. And our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he was a pure devotee, and so that we can see that his purity in his book, in his writing throughout actually, because he is only speaking about bhakti, nothing else. He is only emphasizing on the bhakti part, which actually Krishna wanted to convey through Bhagavad Gita actually. So most of the times what is happening in different commentaries that the actual purpose of Bhagavad Gita is forgotten. It is written in different ways and different interpretations and all. So that is not good to, we will not be getting any benefit out of it actually. Because what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita or any scriptures? The purpose is for our transformation. So we are having so many contaminations. We need to transform and become devotees, and finally we should be eligible to go from this, get out of this material world and go back to Krishna. So that is the purpose of human form. So if the message is not clear, then we will not be able to understand it properly. So that's very, very important for us to have to study Srimad Bhagavad Gita, to understand, read Bhagavad Gita from a pure devotee. So, and we are all fortunate in that way because Srila Prabhupada is one among the pure devotees of Krishna, and that is how we got Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that is the reason he coined it as Bhagavad Gita as it is, means no misinterpretation. Whatever Krishna wanted to convey, he is writing here. And also, it is not only his own commentaries. Basically, Srila Prabhupada has taken commentaries from different Vaishnava acharyas. And he referred to that. There are so many great Vaishnava acharyas before Srila Prabhupada, and their commentaries have been taken as a reference, and from that he has, compiled it in Bhagavad Gita as it is. And also Krishna has revealed many things to him also. So altogether it's it's like a very juicy, very important, or we can say very nice purports we can read. So by Krishna's mercy we will be able to study that. So let us all pray. So we will stop here today, and the next class, let's see how we will just read the preface and then go straight into the chapter 1. Okay, and I would request all of you to kindly read the introduction part, possibly at least some pages, and I will give you probably maybe if all of you have Bhagavad Gita, then it is easy for me to tell that how many pages. But I hope many of you are having Bhagavad Gita as it is. So if so, please, I will mention in the group how many pages to be read as a homework for the next week, and then slowly, gradually, I mean, in 1 or 2 weeks, you will be able to finish, the entire introduction. It is not very big. You will have to spend some time to read it, and then we can always discuss any questions if you have. And basically, if you have any questions in introduction, that questions will be answered during our study of Bhagavad Gita from chapter 1 onwards. Okay, so we will see in that way. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for your patience and your association. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. If you have any questions, we can have it. We have now 10 more minutes before we wind up. So if you have some questions, you can always ask. Anything to be highlighted, anything to be asked, or anything to be shared also, you can also share if you have something to share, please. Anybody? Anyone has any? Okay. Indu Mataji has put one question in the chat box I just saw. Godhead. What is the meaning of Godhead? So God means, we can say Ishwar. Head. What is the meaning of head? Head of the department. Head of the department means he is the topmost person, right? So there are so many gods. There are so many gods in the sense there are so many small gods, and there is a head of that. There is a head also, or mean to say, like in a company, there will be a chief executive officer, CEO, and under him there will be so many, we can say, executive vice presidents, or we call it as directors, or whatever, So there are so many. We say in our tradition there are 33 crores gods, right? In Hindu tradition, basically we say that. So all of them are called as gods, but there is a boss for all of them, and that is Godhead, and that Godhead is Vishnu or Krishna. So Krishna and Vishnu is same, but they are in different, or in Tattva, both of them are same. Krishna, Narayana, Vishnu, all of them are in Tattva, all of them same. But in the rasa, in the mood, there is some difference. So that is the only difference. At the same time, Godhead means the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord means the topmost. So he is the Supreme Lord. And all the other gods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, all of them are coming actually under that Supreme Lord, Narayana or Krishna. So we will see that later also. So that is why the terminology has been coined as Godhead. So not to mistake that Krishna or Vishnu or Narayana is one among the 33 crores gods. He is the supreme. So to make us understand, it is said that Godhead. Okay, Mataji, are you okay with that? You are there in the class? I cannot see you. I think okay. Anyways, anything else? Anybody has something to say? Please. Hare Krishna. Nothing. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
You have something to say?
Prabhuji, I have one question. This gambling is against our dharma, no? So why did Krishna?
Good question. Gambling is against the dharma in the sense gambling is actually an entertainment basically. But in the Vedic times, this was not doing for anything, just to say that the gambling what is happening in the current days for just to make some money or cheating, that was not the case in the Vedic times. This gambling was an entertainment for the kings basically. So they play actually, even in the family, like they play. So that there was a tradition in that way, we can say. It was just an entertainment thing. But here what is happening is that gambling should be taken in that way. So there is nothing wrong in the kings, that sometimes there will be gambling between, the match will be between, like nowadays the match will be in a different ways. We are not talking about gambling now. The gambling is happening maybe in the casinos and all. Okay, that's different thing. First of all, there is no kingdom, right? There is no rulers, there are no kings. So the all system is different now. So there is nothing like that. So initially, during those times, there is there'll be some kind of competition between different kings. There'll be some matches, some games, some entertainments. So that was part of it actually. But so that is one thing. And why Yudhishthira participated? It's another question. Yudhishthira was a dharma person. He could have said that I will not participate in the gambling match, because in this gambling there is something, they are putting they are gambling for the kingdom, for the money basically. So Yudhishthira definitely would have said that I will not participate. But there is one more point we should understand. If a Kshatriya is being challenged by another Kshatriya, we have to agree to it actually. So that's again a dharma of Kshatriya dharma. So if somebody is challenging some one king is challenging other king, the other king, maybe he will not be interested to do that, but he will have to accept the challenge. That is one of the rule in the Kshatriya dharma. So he had to say yes to gambling, though he was not interested, though he was virtuous, he was religious, he was not interested to play all this gambling thing, which is not a good thing also. But he had to say yes only because he was a Kshatriya. To take care of that Kshatriya principles, he had to say yes. That's how he said yes, and he participated. Okay. Even one more point I can add to this, that even killing of animals is forbidden, right, as per the Vedas, right, isn't it? But Kshatriyas, we would have heard about it. They go to the forest and do they fight with the animals and kill the animals. We would have heard that also. So why it is happening? Because again, that is also said in the Vedas, in the scriptures, that Kshatriyas, they are fighting, right, against the evil, or maybe their duty is to protect the citizens, right? So in order to fight, they should be they should be good in all the military arts. So killing the animal is basically they are actually practicing their skill sets. And then you will be thinking, then what will there will be a reaction for that king, for whoever is killing the animal for as a practice or whatever. Actually, no, because that is again been forgiven by as per the scriptures. He will not be getting any reaction for that, because he is doing to just to increase or improve his skills in the bow and arrow, or any kind of weapons. So those animals will not be those animals are not killed to eat, actually, to just to satisfy the tongue. They are doing it's as a part of their hunting is happening, not to eat, but at the same time to improve their skill set. So that is allowed actually for the Kshatriyas, and for that they will not get any reaction. Even the animals will be not losing the their evolutionary process. They will be getting the next proper life. And if they are part of the Vedic, any of the Vedic culture, Vedic Vedic activities, actually they will be elevated to the next level. So it is a benefit for everybody actually. So animals are not losing anything. Like if we are killing an animal just to eat for just to satisfy our tongue, then there is a reaction for us, no doubt. There is a reaction for us. Secondly, animal is also not getting enough opportunity to progress, and he will have to. For example, I was mentioning in the previous classes, not this class, different class. If the animal has to live for 5 years, and if we are killing them at 2 years, then 3 more years actually that animal has to live. But we are breaking that. So what is happening is that animal, and then that soul has to take again one more body as the same animal to continue, to finish this 3 years. So that is there. So it's a complicated process basically. But if it is as per the scriptures, then there is no problem actually. So that is the same principle we can apply in the animal sacrifices also, which is mentioned in the Vedas. So the animal is not actually animal is getting a human form or any great opportunity actually. Any animal sacrificed in the sacrificial fire, as per the actual Vedic principles, that animal is getting a human form. They don't have to go through the evolutionary process. Otherwise, it would take maybe thousands of years for that animal to become a human being. So that is again, as if we follow the Vedic scriptures, Vedic principles properly. And by the way, this animal sacrifice cannot be done in the age of Kali Yuga. It is completely forbidden. It could be done in the different ages like Satya Yuga and all, because that was possible. Here in this Kali Yuga, it's forbidden, because there is no qualified Brahmana to do that. There are so many problems also in Kali Yuga, so this is not possible. So all this, as per the Vedic literatures, there are so many options available. So like killing of animal or gambling, these things are we need to understand in that perspective. But currently in the Kali Yuga, this is forbidden, because everything is being done for the sense gratification, to make money, or to become greater than others. So many things. So it is completely based on selfishness. So the reason why he participated is because he was a Kshatriya. He was challenging. He was challenged by another Kshatriya. He has to say yes to that. Okay, so that was the case. All right. So I said many things, but all things can be related to this. Okay. All right. Time is up. Thank you so much for your patience once again. So let us conclude here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Raghavendra Prabhu, Chinmay Mataji, Smita Mataji, Suvarna Prabhu Mataji, Meena Mataji, Neetu Mataji, Mangala Mataji, Shushmita Mataji, Sudarshan, Gautam, Roshi Mataji, Sonika Mataji, Tirtha, Sandhya Mataji. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much for your association. Okay, if you have any questions, you can always post me in the message, or we can discuss in the coming classes. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Pranams.